I'm starting this off with a hot take here. I think that was the best iteration of Superman ever. Finally, a great Superman movie. Now, let's start this off with the titular character, Superman. David Cornsweet, I think his last name is. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. This guy killed it as Superman. He is the best Clark Kent and the best Superman I have ever seen. This guy really felt like Superman. He had the look to him. He had the suit, the little curl in his hair, which is absolutely essential. Action with him was super fun to watch. I was interested in his story the whole time. This guy kept me fascinated with the character of Clark Kent. Now, with the role of Superman, you gotta be two different people. You gotta be Kal-El and you gotta be Clark Kent. Which this guy kills it as both. He felt like two separate people, and he didn't just feel like two separate people, he looked like two separate people. Now, this guy does look different as Clark Kent, and they actually do give a story-based reason of why he looks different. It's the glasses. People see him differently than how he wants to be seen. So he doesn't look like Superman. Makes sense. It's Kryptonian technology. I always hate that excuse of, just throw on glasses, do your hair a little different, you're a different person. It was a smart story-based reason why people didn't see him and Superman as the same person, as literally anyone else would. Now, you see this in the trailer where Lois Lane, played magnificently by Rachel Brosnahan, if I said her last name wrong too, I'm sorry about that. She's interviewing Superman over a voice recording, and man, you can just see the Superman aura exuding out of this guy. He just gives off charm. He just gives off niceness, humbleness to him. All the qualities that Superman's supposed to have, this guy really has. But just because he's an alien doesn't mean he doesn't have human depth to him. Where he gets frustrated in the interview. He feels like he's not answering things correctly. He feels like he's being kind of played into saying the wrong thing. Still a person, not just an almighty being and just a do-gooder and a hero. Still a person with emotions. Now, my biggest concern going into this movie was that it looked way too crowded. I did not like the fact that the Justice Gang, it's such a stupid name, but they actually did play into that a couple times, that it is a stupid name, and they actually did make a few clever jokes off of it. I will give them that. That was funny. Lois, Clark, the Daily Planet people, Lex, his employees, the Justice Gang. I thought this was going to be way too overcrowded, way too overstuffed, and just not have the actual Superman part of it to it. They proved me wrong. I'll give them that. They proved me wrong. It was very Superman focused. The others took a backseat to them. They were side characters. They weren't forefront focused. They were absolutely a part of the story, but to a point where it didn't override for Superman's movie. I thought it was going to be BVS syndrome, where the side characters and the setup for future stuff was going to take over what we currently had in that current movie. But it was very well handled, so thank you for proving me wrong. The core of this story, it is a Superman versus Lex Luthor story. And I'm not the biggest Lex Luthor fan. I never thought he was all that great. I'm sure he's got his moments. Maybe I just don't know about it. I'm not sure. But this guy, Nicholas Hoult, he kills it in this role as Lex Luthor. I will give him that. Absolutely nails it. I'm thinking going into this, how is this skinny, bald, blue-eyed guy going to be any threat to a built mofo like Superman? And they kind of acknowledge it a couple times, saying, use brains over brawn. Makes sense. Use your smarts to take down the strong guy. Now, Clark's parents, I didn't know they were in it. And seeing them was a nice surprise. They weren't in it long. And for what they were in it for, they were a nice parental figures to have. Final fight is really fun. I really, really liked it. Really, my biggest problem with this movie is the B plot. Felt a little too much like propaganda. And do we really need that in this? I'm a big advocate for waiting through post-credit scenes and seeing what's next. This one I wouldn't. This felt like a big waste. But overall thoughts, this is a great start to a new DC cinematic universe. And James Gunn actually seems like he has a plan to what he's doing, unlike the last guy. It felt like a real-life episode of Superman the Animated Series, or like Justice League Unlimited. Something within the DC animated universe. It felt like they just took that and just said, put it on screen, but real life. I like the fact that we're not seeing an origin story again. Because how many times do we have to see an origin story of the same thing? Jumping into an already established world. And I love that because of the fact that I've been wanting to see something like this for years. DC has great storytelling potential in a cinematic universe. This could be amazing, and this is a great start to it. I really enjoyed this movie, way more than I thought I would. If I'm giving this thing a grade, it's getting a solid A. Have you seen it yet? I've seen from other reviews that it's very divisive and just very all over the place for people, so I'd love to hear what anyone thinks of this, because I loved it. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. Stay safe, stay sexy, stay super.